Hey guys, it's CognitivePit. I'm going to be doing another arena. I am on Skype with a friend of mine. There's a little bit of static, but it shouldn't be too bad. If you turn down the volume maybe just a little bit to where you can just hear us, or me, it'll work out probably perfectly. Now, I already went ahead and bought in, and I decided I'm going to be going with Jaina Proudmoore, the Mage. So I've never actually drafted a mage before, but hopefully it'll turn out alright. The easy pick here is going to be Azure Drake between Arcane Golem and Kirin Tor Mage. Kirin Tor Mage, I don't know if I'm going to be getting any secrets at all, and even with that, she's really only okay. The Arcane Golem, I think, is terrible because giving your opponent a mana crystal is not very good. I mean, the charge with 4 is nice, but it's definitely not anywhere near as good as the Azure Drake. Okay, the Amani Berserker is really good. So is Frostbolt, though, and I'm actually going to pick Frostbolt first, just because minions are usually, even if they're a little bit worse, it's not that big of a deal, but I really need to get the removal right away. Okay, another Frostbolt. I'm actually going to pick that as well. There was also an Arcane Intellect, but I think I was going to pass on that. Well, I know I was going to pass on that. Sorcerer's Apprentice is good, and Raging Worgen is okay, but Flame Strike you absolutely need to get. Flame Strike will win games. Fireball, definitely. Again, Leopardome and Young Dragonhawk are good, but I want to make sure I get my removal and my damage in first. Now for this, we have Arcane Explosion, which deals 1 damage to all enemy minions, which is okay. That can be situationally okay. But I think Acidic Swamp Ooze is definitely going to be the pick here, because Arcane Explosion is not guaranteed removal. I really like Mana Worm. Mana Worm is just great. This is a more interesting pick. War Golem, I don't really like very much. It's just a 7/7 for 7, which is, you know, it's lackluster, to say the least. Novice Engineer is good. Early draw can be really useful. An Arcane Explosion, again, for the whole situational, I don't really think it's that great, and right now I don't have much spell power, so I can't really boost it up too much right now, so we're going to go with the Novice Engineer here. Okay, now we have Cone of Cold and Water Elemental and Acolyte of Pain. Each of these are pretty good. I think Cone of Cold is probably the worst of these two just right now, looking at what we have. Water Elemental is very good, and Acolyte of Pain is good, but I think I'll stick with Water Elemental right now. Just because Water Elemental can really change games, and Acolyte of Pain is more of either a last-ditch effort or just getting more ahead kind of card. So we're going to go with the Water Elemental right now. Okay, we have the choice between the Twilight Drake, Vaporize, and Argent Commander. I'm obviously going to pick Argent Commander, but I'll just explain that a little bit. Vaporize is not good because when you play it, you're kind of leaving the whole decision-making in the hands of the opponent. They can attack in with something really weak, thinking it might be a Vaporize, so it kind of ruins it. You're paying 3 for what you might kill a 1/1, so it's not really good in that regard. It's just kind of random removal. And then you have Twilight Drake, which can usually be terrible. Usually it's not going to be very great. It's not going to be better than something like a Chillwind Yeti. And Argent Commander is great removal. It's just really good. Okay, we got another Azure Drake, which is absolutely awesome. We've got Arcane Golem, which, again, I explained I don't like. An Ancient Watcher is pretty terrible unless you have, I don't know, some kind of silence or something. But even then, it's really kind of lackluster, especially in a Mage deck. So we're absolutely going with the Azure Drake. Alright, we have another Frostbolt, Cone of Cold, and Sorcerer's Apprentice. Sorcerer's Apprentice is good, but I actually think I'm going with another Frostbolt. It's definitely going to be hilarious, at least. Minimally, it'll be great to watch. Another Mana Worm, which is good. I am going to have to start thinking about getting some creatures in this deck. We're going to go with the Boulder Fist Ogre between these two. The Shield Bearer, I don't like very much. He's got 0 attack, and that's just unacceptable. And then you have the Core Hound, who has way too low of health for his cost. So we're definitely going to go with the Boulder Fist Ogre here. Alright, we got a Spellbreaker. Spellbreaker is just really good. Silence is great. I would love another Mana Worm, don't get me wrong. But we already have 2, and we don't really want that many 1-drops, of course. So we're going to go with the Spellbreaker here. Okay, Mirror Entity can actually be pretty good, and Abusive Sergeant can actually be pretty cool too, depending on how you play him. But he's not... I mean, he's not good on turn 1 or anything, so he's kind of random. I think we're going to go with the Raid Leader here. Yeah, he's also not very good on turn 3, usually, but... okay, so we've got the Violet Teacher and the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, who are both going to be very useful with the amount of spells that we're going to have, or do have already. But I think I'm actually going to go with the Argent Commander again, just because that Charged Divine Shield is just really, really powerful, and they're definitely not going to expect 2. So I think it's going to be useful. Okay, awesome. These are good. Wolf Rider is a really nice little removal card, or free damage. Ironfur Grizzly is a pretty decent taunter for Arena, for sure. Maybe not so much Constructed, but for Arena, very good. And the Shattered Sun Cleric, I think, is outstanding. Is a really outstanding neutral card, so we're going to go ahead and pick that. Okay, Ice Barrier. So we've got the Tarn Warrior, who has the Taunt and the Enrage, but I'm really not that big of a fan. He's kind of like a really bad Amani Berserker. Sorcerer's Apprentice might do us some good, honestly. But Ice Barrier is a fun little trick for Arena, that's for sure. But I think we'll go with the Sorcerer's Apprentice. We're not going to want to be put in a situation where we're going to have to actually play the... where we're actually going to have to play whatever I was just talking about, the Ice Block. If we're in a situation where we need Ice Block, it's just... that's unfortunate. Our deck just isn't good enough to compete against that particular matchup. So I think we will... I think it's better to go with the Sorcerer's Apprentice in that situation. So Counterspell and the Violet Teacher again. Violet Teacher, we do have... we have a couple 4-drops, so Counterspell is also kind of random removal. It can be very, very useful. It can stop Pyroblast, for instance, and it's really good if you know what they're going to be playing, or are afraid of something like a turn 7 Flame Strike, or a turn 5 Holy Nova. If you know what's coming, that can be really, really great. But I think we're going to go with the Violet Teacher here. Alright, Polymorph, for sure. Really great removal. This is good. The Goldshire Footman, we definitely don't need another 1-drop. And the 1-2 Taunt is just kind of meh. The 1-4 Taunt, the same. His attack is just really low, and it's just not going to be that good for us. So the Bloodfen Raptor is really good. A 3-2, that's a standard for the 2-drops, and it's just very, very strong. Alright, we got another Flame Strike here, so I'm going to grab it. Spellbreaker is also really strong, so we could have gone with him as well. But Flame Strike, I think, is really going to help us win games. Okay. Wow, these are pretty good choices here. Defender of Argus is a very strong card, for sure. But we also have the Sunwalker with Taunt, Divine Shield. That can be really, really good for us. I mean, we're already looking at the Argent Commanders here at 6. We got the Boulder Fist and 2 Flame Strikes. I feel like maybe the 6 is a little too expensive for us right now, so I think we're going to go with the Defender. We only have 6 more cards. Well, we have Arcane Missile and Mirror Image. I'm usually not a fan of Mirror Image, but I think we might actually be wanting it for this deck that we have right here. It might come in handy. Arcane Missile is a little too random. I'm really not that big of a fan. And the Earthring Farseer, we could use another 3-drop. That's for sure. Yeah, we're not looking too good on our drops here for 2 and 3. This is definitely a tough situation here for us. I don't think I want a 3-3 for 3, honestly. And Arcane Missiles is really kind of too random. You know, I think we're going to go with Mirror Image. It's going to help us wait till the later game, which is where we're going to be really strong. And we've got 2 Flame Strikes, which is really good. So having that extra, just being able to wait till turn 7 might help us out a lot. We have the Ironforge Rifleman, who is not great, but I think we're just going to pick him just because he falls into our 3-drop slot here. Alright, so we have the choice between the Acolyte of Pain and the Spellbreaker, and we do already have a Spellbreaker, and we are looking still pretty poor on our 3-drops, but yeah, let's go with the Acolyte of Pain just for the draw, and he fits into where we really want our mana to be. Alright, we're going to go with the Razorfen Hunter for the same reason. I really want a lot of little drops to deal with and really get board control early on, so we're going to go with that. And we got 2 more picks left. I'm going to go with the Ironbeak Owl. Ice Barrier, again, really situationally good, and we want to be winning the whole time and not need to Ice Barrier. So I'm definitely going to go with the Ironbeak Owl here for this early silence. And finally, wow, a 3rd Azure Drake. I think we might actually pick that. I think we will. Okay, so we have a decent curve right here. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. I mean, we definitely need the Flame Strikes up here, so it's kind of like you can ignore that. And we have some really great drops. We have 3 Azure Drakes, which is great. We only have 1 Fireball, which is kind of terrible. We don't have any Pyroblast, which would have been amazing. But 1 Fireball, so I do not regret taking the 3 Frostbolts early at all. So we're going to go ahead here and play the first game. And then after that, I'll cut them into separate videos from there. So hopefully we can go ahead and take this first game. I think we built something okay. It's definitely not terrible. We got the 2 Argent Commanders, we got the 3 Azure Drakes. So definitely a lot of good higher drops. I think we have 2 Mana Worms, which is cool, because we have those Frostbolts, which are going to work really well together. Get something strong out and get the removal going. So first, we're against a Paladin, which Paladin is very strong in Arena. Quite possibly #1 in Arena, but we're not going to worry about that too much. We're just going to try to outplay him and go ahead and win here. So, I'm not sure what's going on here. Nothing is going on here, actually. Alright, well, because of this new development, I'm actually going to stop the video now, and we'll cut it into another piece. So check out part 2 to see the first game, I guess. Not sure what's going on here, gonna have to report this bug.